Hello, Fearless Gamers! Matt here for Fearless Games, and today I'm doing another entry in the Book Corner. In fact, the first entry in the Book Corner of the new year, 2014. And what's this book review going to be of? Well, it is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the classic story of Bilbo Baggins the Hobbit, who meets up with the wizard Gandalf the Grey and a band of dwarves and is roped into an adventure to go towards the Lonely Mountain. This mountain in which the once housed a mighty kingdom of dwarfs that this band belongs to. In fact, one of the characters is the descendant of the king, who wish to go back to the mountain and claim back their gold in their homeland from the evil dragon Smaug, who has taken over the mountain and proclaimed it his. Along the way, they run into goblins, spiders, wood elves, a whole lot of cool stuff that leads all up into a grand adventure with a grand story about the little guy persevering through courage and determination. On the whole, this book is great. I enjoy it a lot. It is a very simple read, and it's written in such a way that may not appeal to a lot of people because it's very much like, once someone described to me Lord of the Rings as being much like a textbook. I'd say this is more like a campfire story. I read it very much similarly to I just pictured, a guy just telling the story at a campfire, and that's how it seems to read. This does hurt one of the most important factors in the book, which is the characters. The characters are very solid, but with the exception of Bilbo and possibly Smaug and one or two other characters, a good chunk of the cast is very flat, very two-dimensional. They're solid in the form that, they clearly have a history, they clearly had lives, and they clearly have a backstory that Tolkien could go into, but Tolkien doesn't. And the way it's written, it's very more of a he felt, he said, he felt type of thing. So it's less of a blah 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 said so-and-so, and more so-and-so said he was displeased. So you kind of lose a lot of the personality and character that you could get out of the story. And it is a very short read. It's only 300 pages, so the average person tends to get it done in 1 to 2 days. Unless you're me, which takes a lot longer. But they're not going to get into that since I am a very slow reader. The story is... I like it because there's a dragon in it, and dragons are one of my favorite fantasy things to read about. And in general, it's a nice, simple adventure. It's great, and there's 1 or 2 issues with it that you can throw into there, but I think it's better explained in the book than it is in the movie series. And on the whole, I think it's definitely worth reading, especially if you're big into fantasy stuff. This is like the Citizen Kane in a sense of story time telling. Not that it's the greatest story in the world or anything like that, but this is like one of those books where you'd be glad that you read it even if you don't like it. In that sense, sort of similar like with Citizen Kane, where you may not like Citizen Kane, but you're pretty glad to be able to say you saw what is considered the greatest film achievement of all time. And so I definitely would recommend this, and the book is a lot easier to get nowadays because of the new movie release, which I will say on a whole, good series. I find the films enjoyable, but they're horrible book adaptations. I'm not a fan that it's going to be 3 films. I personally think it could have been done in only 2, and the first Hobbit cartoon kind of proved you could do it in 1, if you extended it to about 2.5 hours. But on the whole, as a book adaptation, you gotta throw this out the window. As the wild card said to me once, I'm too attached to the book, so I won't accept what changes they did, and there are a lot of changes that they do in the series. But like with the first Hobbit movie, the first film in this trilogy, I did like it better when I rewatched it and was able to take away the book element from it. But between the two, if you're looking for a good adaptation, the second film did not do a good job. Personally, the best thing that they did was Smaug. But because Smaug, for a couple of different reasons, than his perfect then most of them not being the fact that he was a faithful recreation from the book. He wasn't. But he was the best part. His appearance, his voice, and the whole interaction was great despite the changes that they made. So, that's my 2 cents on the film, but again, overall, if you get the chance, read this book. It is definitely worth the read itself. But be forewarned, the writing style is not for everyone. And so that is all for right now. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't yet, subscribe. That way you can see these videos when they come out and more. Like us, that way more people can see the video series. And if you haven't yet, check out our Facebook page. We've got a lot of cool stuff there. You get some news updates, like if videos are running late, what's going on. You get some cool photos, some videos that you only see on the channel as well as some quick news bits whenever there's something that we think is important to say to everybody. So, thank you all for watching once again, and until next time, fearless gamers, take care!